All right, welcome to the Snowflake Sports Podcast. It is 8:24 on February 12th. It is a Wednesday. My Toronto Raptors are playing the Brooklyn Nets right now, and I think they're losing, which is kind of sad. But I am joined by Fritz Collenbach, aka Kesha. What to do,
What's
baby?
good, Dan?
Yeah, not much. Just enjoying a 15-game win streak
Oh, yo,
that we'll talk about later.
I just got
Um,
followed by Big Baby.
really?
Yeah,
How?
I got on Twitter.
Oh shit! I heard the little follow noise.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
By the way,
nice.
screw you for like tag teaming him in that argument.
Oh, oh, I love that, dude. I just wanted to
Oh
insult him, 'cause
yeah,
I knew he would jump for as a Ben Simmons stan.
yeah, I know,
So
because he's from
yeah,
Philly, so like, yeah, obviously
yeah,
he's a diehard fan, and he's gonna defend Ben Simmons the same way that I try and defend Aaron Rodgers and LeBron.
yeah. I guess a little context for anyone listening too. So, Fritz did or tweeted a video
Listen,
of Ben
I
Simmons
I
nailing
shared
eight
this
threes.
video of Ben Simmons making 8 threes in a row in a warm up,
Sauce.
and I said something along the lines of, "This doesn't mean anything unless he's going to actually attempt these in a game." And Dan so lovingly tagged his
Woo!
a friend that we both played rugby with, who is a huge Philly native Sixers fan, and said, "Hey, you want to take this?" And then him and Dan kind of just double teamed me on why I'm wrong about my opinions on Ben Simmons when I never really even said that he was bad, because he's not.
No, I think it was misconstrued. Because
Yeah.
it was just
Well,
like
he got
you.
very defensive very quick.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's just move on a
Sure.
little bit. So we're talking about Tom Brady, XFL for a little bit at the start. Then we're going to talk about winners and losers of the NBA trade deadline. Then Zion Williamson's kind of hot streak right now. The Raptors 15-game win streak. NBA All-Star game, and then we're going to wrap up with New Hampshire primary and some Nevada pick'ems. All right, so Tom Brady, and I know you're a pretty, well, I wouldn't say big Coward fan, but you listen to him and you
Oh,
think he has good intel.
I have such a love-hate relationship with Colin Cowherd, because I cannot stand his pompous jackassery every day. Like, he thinks that he is the God's gift to broadcasting Earth. But he's right so much of the time. It's hard for me to discount him. And even when he's wrong, he admits it, which so many other people who, think that they're too good to do, like, like Skip Bayless, prides himself on never wavering his opinion, where that's kind of bullshit. Like, if you get new information, what's wrong with
Yeah.
changing your stance on something? But
Yeah, let's just move that. So, like, he had this bunch of intel on how, like, Tom Brady might be going to Dallas. Like, they might do a sign and trade with Dak Prescott. Um, and then, I forget who he had on, like, Monday, but he had some pretty good, like, intel. Or just, like, people, like, inside the organization that said, like, he's gone. And it was just, like, 100%, like, and I forget who he had on. But it's just, like, I get the fit, because, like, you have a great offensive line. You have amazing wide receivers. Like, if you just get, I think, who is the GOAT,
wait,
Fritz would disagree.
where?
But, like, if you get someone who's that good of a decision maker, like, that team,
Wait,
like, has no limit
which team did you
if
say?
they have that. The Cowboys. Like, because they have the better, you've argued this, too. They have the better offensive line. Like, they have a great running back in Zeke. You got Gallup and Cooper outside. Like, Jason Witten's probably almost done, but he was a reliable tight end last year.
Yeah, but
So say like if Brady,
their tight end too is really good. He's up and
okay,
coming.
right.
Jarvin?
So I guess a little bit. Do you buy this, or like, are you
No,
kind of?
not
Yeah.
at all.
Okay.
There's a bunch of teams that I can see him going to. The Cowboys are not one of them. This is a Cowboys and Patriots fans, or even Cowboys fans and Tom Brady fans, kind of overlap with each other often. And just, from my experience of people talking this about sports and stuff, because there's a huge fan base for it's a huge bandwagon thing too, because you have all the people that won 4 Super Bowls when they were growing up, so they're going to jump on that team, and then you have this other guy who's dominating, and they're going to fall in love with him. So it's the same kind of I don't know, but it's dumb. As much as I love to shit on Dak Prescott, and by the way, Dak Prescott, not a bad quarterback, but not what everybody keeps saying that he is. He's Alex Smith. He's Teddy Bridgewater. He's good, but he's not going to carry your team to a championship. But he is a franchise quarterback, and he has a future, and he has progressed every single year he's been in the NFL. And he had a really good year this year, statistically. I know a lot of them were garbage time points, but, I mean...
They had a soft schedule.
Like butter. But, yeah, no, it makes no sense, because Tom Brady last year had a dog shit year. His defense carried him the entire season. They lost to the Miami Dolphins at home to end the season when they were fighting for a playoff bye. Dan, can you name 5 players on the Dolphins right now?
Devontae Parker, Fitzpatrick. I think that's it. Because I'm going to say Kenyon Drake, but he's gone.
Yeah.
And then they traded the other Minka Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. Their defense has no one now. So.
They got Eric Rowe. That's the only person that I can think of. I don't know. Do they still have Rashad Jones? Their cornerback? No, actually, I don't think they do. Because I looked it up when I was trying. I thought of this question one day, and I was like, "Can I name 5 people on the Dolphins right now?" And I couldn't. And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, I would have known this person, and maybe this person," and everybody else was just like, "You guys are XFL practice squad players." I've never heard of any of you. And
they still won 5 games though.
Well, kudos to Brian Flores. Holy shit!
Right.
But regardless, Brady had a really bad year, and I'm tired of people saying that he had nobody to throw to. Granted, he was old, but he had a Super Bowl MVP. It was a year off of him being a Super Bowl MVP, and he's had probably the best quarterback wide receiver connection anybody's ever had with Julian Edelman. He had a number 2 Super Bowl receiver in Mohamed Sanu. Granted, it was to Julio Jones with Matt Ryan, but he was still the number 2 team on the best offense. He was still the number 2 receiver on the best offense that year. They had N'Keal Harry, who I thought physically and going into the draft. Granted, I was wrong, or maybe that they just didn't work out the system, or maybe Tom Brady was shit all year. But going into the draft, he looked like the best receiver out of that group. I personally thought his tape looked better than everybody else's. And they had Philip Dorsett. And as much as everybody wants to shit on Philip Dorsett, the first 5, 6, 7 games of the season, until he got injured, they were killing it with Philip Dorsett. And they were talking about how he was revitalizing his career. So I get that they don't have, the fact that they talk about how Tom Brady doesn't have help, I'm done with that, because the whole career they were talking about how he elevates other people. But now that he's not working with, I don't know, the best tight end that has ever lived, or Randy fucking Moss, or Julian Edelman, I mean, revitalized Julian Edelman, or Wes Welker, or he has had they had Antonio Brown last year. I know it was only for a game, but he has gotten, and the whole time he has gotten to work with, I think most people would say is the greatest coaching mind in the NFL history. Bill Belichick,
oh, no doubt,
is so light years beyond everybody else in his pregame planning. That they've had to change the rules of the game because he keeps finding loopholes. So,
Yeah.
like, there's still NFL
okay.
players that he's playing with.
Yeah, so Julian Edelman was hurt this year, so like he's gonna have like a downfall a little bit. Sanu somehow couldn't get open, and I feel like it was more like he got traded in the middle of the season, and I feel like it's just hard to fit in the Patriots system because it's so like rigid and detail oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And then N'Keal Harry also I felt like had trouble getting open, so it's like I see. Like I get what you're saying because Brady's like a little slower, and now like you saw it when
But
the Giants
Brady could never
started
run.
doing Daniel Jones, where you had a mobile quarterback that opened so much more to
Mm-hmm.
you to do, um, and like Brady just couldn't really do that. But like it was also on the receivers too. Like their offense wasn't really planned that well. I feel like Josh McDaniels kind of had a down year.
Well, I mean,
Um,
they have what, 3 receiving running backs too, and that's half of what they do on the offense is just
well, I would
small.
call Sonny Michel a receiving running back. He's more of a runner.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
yeah.
Anyways, we talked way too much about this, but I don't believe it either.
I think it's dumb.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the thing that like that he's leaving at all because Giselle has a ton of money. He has a decent amount of money. So like, why does he need to make more money?
I don't think
And
he
like,
needs to make more money. I think
no.
to cement himself as the greatest. What's the number one criticism that people will say with Tom Brady? Why he's not the greatest quarterback of all time?
Because he has Bill Belichick
Exactly.
as his
So if
coach.
he can win
Yeah.
without Bill Belichick, nobody can deny
Right,
that
but
he's the greatest.
I guess to counter that, and maybe it's just because like I live in New England, and fucking Pats fans everywhere. But like, so he started doing this TB12 thing at like Whole Foods,
Mhm.
where he sells like TB12 things, and like if he retires as a Patriot, like this whole area will just buy this stupid TB12 stuff
He
for
could.
like overpriced.
I mean,
So like,
yeah. But,
if he wants to take like LeBron, like kind of like more than the athlete, like the whole like after like basketball, if he wants to do after football thing, I think he has to stay in this area
I don't.
to like do that.
n-
The only team I see him really going to is the Chargers, just to like
You know who?
because Giselle is probably more like for LA. It's kind of like a LeBron thing, like hey, let's all famous people move to LA, like get paid a ton, and then like you could do your TB12 there, and that could also work. Um, that's really the only team I see him doing that.
You know what? Who
Um,
else actually makes a ton of sense?
Raiders,
Who? No, the Raiders make
like,
no sense to me. I don't get why people are saying that.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with Derek Carr. He's not a top
he had a good
quarterback,
year.
but he's not
Yeah.
bad. Like he's a franchise quarterback. They also just paid him a shit ton of money. Like
Yeah.
no, the Colts.
Oh yeah.
Colts have
But
an
like,
elite offensive line that can protect an old, immobile quarterback and a really good receiving core.
oh right, T.Y. Hilton. I'm trying to think who else. Fuck, I forget.
T.Y.
Who else
Hilton. They also have Paris Campbell and Eric Ebron.
Oh right, yeah. I don't know. I'd rather have Keenan Allen.
I mean, I'd rather have. I'm not saying that the Chargers are a bad pick,
Oh, they also have Henry. They have Hunter Henry too.
but like they couldn't
So
get it done with Phillip Rivers last year.
yeah, but Philip Rivers did not look. He threw a ton of picks. And
Brady
like,
didn't look good last year either.
right, but like if you go back and watch how the Chargers lost some games, it was just like sad.
They were close.
How,
They
like,
lost so many.
They were
games.
in so that team could have been like 10-6 easily.
Yeah.
If like the ball just bounced their way, which it doesn't happen. All right, and then I guess a little tidbit. So I watched the XFL this weekend. I'm pretty sure you did too, right?
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I'm like I'm more of a basketball guy, and I'd rather watch more basketball. But like the whole like 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. There's no PAT afterwards. Like the kickoff for like health reasons, so people aren't just barreling
The
down.
kickoff rule is genius.
Yeah, exactly. And then the whole mic'd up thing. So I don't really know a lot. Like I know more about personnels now, and it's like, oh, this is 11 personnel, like one tight end, one running back, and then like 21, 12, whatever. But like just hearing what they're play calling is just like, oh, you're gonna check down to like this run to the right. It's I don't know, it's just super cool.
Yeah, it really kind of opens yourself up and helps people understand how the game works better.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and like I watched the DC Defenders versus Seattle Dragons. I think that was the first one. Um, and like Cardell Jones, like there's like
Yeah.
players that you kind of know, and then when they go to them, it's like, oh, we were drafted like fourth to the Chargers, or like these players were basically NFL ready. It either didn't work out, or like there's just so many talented football players in America because it's the number one sport that like
seriously.
I just hope I think it will do great because it's like it's on a network you could watch. Like you don't even like there's games on ABC. Like you don't even need the full cable package. You have like Steve Levy calling it too. Like you have like
Pat
a
fucking
backing.
McAfee.
Yeah, exactly. So like yeah. Also, yeah, Marquette King. I forgot what team he was on.
The team that I have picked, the Battlehawks.
Was that St. Louis? Right?
Yeah. So let me tell you why I picked the Battlehawks.
Okay.
One, I just think this is not the main reason, but I love the purple. I love the sick, like the sword and the wings on the helmet. So the whole idea of that looks cool. But more importantly to me, the two things. One, Marquette King's a boss, dude. I fucking one of the coolest punters who has ever lived. And that's not just because he's black. It's because he has attitude. And
well, he dances.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's also a fucking awesome punter. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure. Didn't he have like some kind of issue? Like he had some off the field issue or something like that that got him cut.
Maybe.
I can't remember. There was some kind of controversy with him that got him cut, but he must have gotten blackballed from the NFL because he's a really good punter.
Probably. I could see that.
But more than anything, man, I love a good comeback story, and the fact that St. Louis has a football team again.
Oh yeah, how did I forget
just
that? Just
warms your heart.
Yeah. Also, okay, so I'm picking the New York Guardians because Jerron Jones from Aquinas is like their starting right tackle.
Oh,
I'm like, yo,
I heard that.
My boy. Yeah. He was 2012. He went to Notre Dame, was like a pretty good nose tackle on defense, and then switched to offense. I think he was on the Giants practice squad, then like the Bills practice squad, and I don't think he really played. And then he was like fifth round because the XFL draft was weird. They did like skill players first, and then like everyone
I liked
else.
how they did that too.
Yeah, that was great. And he was like fifth for the Guardians. Also, okay, I looked up tickets because like I heard that they were cheap. You could get like end zone tickets to the New York game for like $25.
What the
It's
fuck?
incredible, right? Like you go to a Bills game. Bills games are cheap, and you could buy like tickets for like $50. But like when I was living in Portland, like Seahawks games were at least $150, no matter what. So the fact that like you could, like normal people could buy a ticket, I think people will get into it. And like I kind of like the DC Defenders because fuck the Deadskins and Dan Snyder being a dipshit to Trent Williams. And I think you were on the one that we did that for. So I don't know. I just liked it. I thought it was a good weekend. I hope it keeps going. Any other last tidbits on it?
The Dallas Renegades have a running back that I went to high school with.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Marquise Young.
Okay.
He was a running back for UMass. He had like a 70-something yard run touchdown against Notre Dame a couple of years ago.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is crazy because our
Airport,
football
man.
team is trash. Like,
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah. It was weird because like they won sectionals like all the time, and I feel like Jerron Jones is like the only prominent player. And then so like because it's Catholic school stuff, there was this kid from McQuaid, Brian Parker, who I went to like middle school with, and then he went to McQuaid. And then he went to Albany, and he was like on the Chiefs for a while and played a couple games.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh shit. But like we always beat them. We beat them 4 times. But I mean, he was just huge and just like a physical specimen. So, kind of made sense. But yeah, Rochester XFL players, let's get it. All right, now moving to the NBA trade deadline. There's a lot of things that happened.
And didn't happen.
I was kind of, yeah, right. And like going into like I think the last 2 days, I was like, huh, nothing really moved. And then like Covington happened, and then like Russell and Andrew Wiggins and like Marcus Morris, like Iggy got traded. But we're gonna start with D'Angelo Russell to Minnesota and Andrew Wiggins to Golden State. So trade details. Sorry, Minnesota gets deloading Omari Spellman and Jacob Evans, while Golden State gets Andrew Wiggins, a top 3 protected 2021 first round pick, which turns into an unprotected pick in 2022 if it's top 3, and they also get a 2021 second round pick, which I feel like second round picks are nothing and they're just kind of stupid.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
because my friend who is also like an equal LeBron Cavs fan was not happy about the Drummond trade because he wanted the Cavs to be focusing on getting picks. And I'm like, they got him for a bag of chips and a second round pick. And he was like, yeah, a second round pick. And I'm like, listen, I know that there have been good players in the past out of the second round, but it's like Julian Edelman or Tom Brady. Like, I mean, congratulations.
Like Draymond Green, I think, is second round. I don't think I could name another second round NBA player.
I looked it up, and the one that comes to mind is Manu Ginobili. But there have been like a handful of like really good players to come out of the second round, but like it still is only a handful. Even in the first round, you're only going to get like one, maybe two guys that are going to be stars. Like,
yeah,
Raptors
won the title without a lottery pick. Granted, because Kawhi was 15th and not 14th. Mm-hmm. But all right, so winner and loser of this trade. Who do you got?
Do I have to pick?
Really? I thought it's obvious, but
I think I don't think obviously the T-Wolves got better because you have, D'Lo gets to play with Cat and they're going to, try their hardest to recruit Devin Booker. And
yeah.
But like they have sort of like that, combined sort of like Kobe and Shaq, LeBron and Kyrie, kind of like, a big and a small. I know LeBron's not a center, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They have a really good dynamic. And then, they went in, they didn't win that, huge blowout game against the Clippers with D'Lo, but that might have just been a morale boost, and now they're playing well together. So I definitely think that the T-Wolves won. I don't like if you're the Warriors though. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, right? I know D'Lo didn't make any sense, but neither does Wiggins. Like,
yeah, I completely agree. I don't know what they're doing. So I'm obviously picking the T-Wolves. I've loved D'Angelo Russell, like when he was in that like last year, and just like. He could spot up and shoot threes. He's great on the pick and roll. Like, and it doesn't make sense in Golden State's offense in the future. But like, why trade him now? Like, you could just trade. You're not doing good this year. Like, Steph should not come back. Clay should absolutely not come back either. So like,
when people ask the question, like
where there's no free agents available, and then like trade him then.
Like, I think
I don't get it.
They might be. Because dude, I think Andrew Wiggins is a fucking lost cause. Like, talk about great talent with like no work ethic, no dog. Like,
yeah, he's not an alpha.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah. But I don't know. I think the only thing I can think of is like either they think that they can fix him, which is not going to work. I mean, kudos if it does, but I doubt it. Or they're trying to get a more tradable piece than D'Lo, but D'Lo's better. Like,
also, Wiggins isn't a tradable piece.
Yeah.
He's on a second year of a $140 million contract.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what they're thinking.
I have no idea. I mean, the only super positive thing is they do get that top 3 protected 2021 first round pick, which sounds like a much better draft than this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're banking on Minnesota.
Honestly, Minnesota probably would have won this draft even if they hadn't gotten D'Lo or trade. Like, if they had just dumped off Wiggins, gotten rid of that contract, and like
but like
some players, like
You mean this draft, like 2020 draft
No,
or 2021?
trade. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Like if they had just given him like some like bench players and they had given him Wiggins, like.
Oh, I don't think they do this trade without like a first round pick.
Yeah.
Like unless they trade like Jarrett Culver, which they're obviously not going to do because he's playing pretty well for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So Memphis finally trades Iggy. He does not play all year, and like it's such a weird situation.
Yeah.
He kind of. I felt like from the get-go didn't want to play for them.
Yeah, I want to call Iggy out right now. I know he's never in a million years going to hear this, but he came forward recently and said, "All I'm going to say is I never said I didn't want to play for the Grizzlies."
Bullshit.
But you fucking didn't play for them half the season, and then you got traded, and then you played the first game you played with the Heat. Like, what?
Yeah. I hate it.
It's like a bear saying, like, I didn't want to eat. I didn't say I wanted to eat that person.
Yeah.
And the bear fucking eats the person.
Everyone's trying to zag and say it's like player empowerment, but like he's getting paid like $20 million a year to do nothing. And like I like the fully guaranteed contracts because like the teams can't really fuck you over, but when it goes the other way, it's just I don't know, it's disgusting. Anyways, so Heat trade Dion Waiters, Justice Winslow, and James Johnson to Memphis, and Miami gets Andre Iguodala, Solomon Hill, and Jay Crowder. All right, who do you think won this one?
The Heat.
The Heat? Okay. This I felt like was pretty even.
I thought it was pretty even, but
yeah.
The Heat right now, dude, I wouldn't want to fuck with the Heat.
Right? I love the Heat.
They look real good. I love Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was my well, Bam too. Holy shit! But yeah. Tyler Hero was my preseason pick for Rookie of the Year. I was trying to be rebellious against, the Zion pick, but
yeah, I think it's Ja. But that's not bad because like people were like, because like he I think was in like the mid-20s or like late teens, and then Miami just got him in the like at the end of the lottery, and people were like, "Whoa, what was that?" It was like he's the only 3-point shooter in this draft.
Yeah,
like,
dude, his step back is filthy.
Yeah, he just oozes Miami too.
Yeah.
Like he has so much.
He was like, look, watching the games preseason, he was the one guy. Like he wasn't like a jump out of the locker room superstar like a freak athlete like Ja, but like just watching him play, he looked already like a seasoned vet. Like he didn't look confused out there. He didn't look scared or frightened or he just like everything just looks so smooth to him. You know how people like compare like watching sports to like smooth jazz or some shit like that. Like that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like he just.
So I read the ESPN A Love Story. It's like that documentary on ESPN. I forgot who said this, but he compared basketball to jazz because it's like the person dribbling is like the leading, because like you have the leading sax or the leading trumpet or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And like the person dribbling is the leading, but you have to stay in rhythm with the other ones, where it's like, the other
makes
drummer
sense.
has to stay and gets hard. So I was like, oh, that's a cool take. But going back to this trade, I thought it was good for Memphis just to get Iggy out of the locker room. Like,
that too, yeah, just to
guy out.
Get a player that's not playing for a player that will play. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And just like you have a younger like foundation. You have Ja, you have Triple J. Like Dylan Brooks, they signed to a reasonable extension. I think he's getting like 11 mil for 4 years or so, which is just like that's fine. Maybe a little too much, but like they have cap to spare. And then they get Jay Crowder, who like I've always kind of liked. Like he's a good 3-and-D guy. But like honestly, it's pretty like even. Like Iggy could be a very good asset to Miami. And
how many teams has Jay Crowder been on in the past 3 years?
Yeah. Wait, am I getting this right? Jay Crowder might be on Miami now. Whoops. I don't know. So, like, right, he got traded to the Cavs after he was on the Celtics. and then that didn't work out, so he went to the
Jazz. And then
now he was on Memphis, and now he's on Miami?
Yeah.
I think that's the path.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I guess who was the other one?
I've never been a huge fan of Jay Crowder.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you watched him more because he was on.
It is. I mean, when he was on other teams, I didn't like him because he just seemed like such an asshole. And then when he was on the team that I liked, I didn't like him because his play was super inconsistent. So
that's fair.
Like, and then also like, fuck Jay Crowder for that bullshit that he pulled last week with the stealing the ball at the end of the play and then going to shoot a three when you're up like 20 points.
I thought that was so funny.
Like his excuse for that was like, yo, play till every like last second of the game, like you're soft or some shit like that. Like, listen, okay, but also fuck you. Every single athlete knows that that's an unwritten rule. If you are like at that point, you're just stat padding and you've already blown the team out. You're 100% going to win. There's no mathematical way the other team can possibly win, and you're just rubbing it in their face. Like you're just being an asshole.
I think it might just be like the New York Madison Square Garden kind of effect.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is the Mecca. I gotta take it, take it by the balls. All right, I think we could agree it's a pretty even trade.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then, so the big one that I think was, I forget when, it was a little earlier, wasn't on day, was the Clint Capella, Robert Covington 4-way trade. So I'm going to try to say this as fast as possible because it's a lot. So the Rockets get Robert Covington, Jordan Bell, and a 2024 Golden State second-round pick from Atlanta. The Hawks got Clint Capella and Nene, and as part of the deal, they waived Chandler Parsons' $25 million expiring contract, which is super tragic, I'd like to say, though, because he sounds very injured from this DUI thing on MLK Day. And then Minnesota receives Malik Beasley, Juan Hernan Gomez, Evan Turner, Jared Vanderbilt, and Brooklyn's lottery-protected first-round pick from Atlanta. And finally, Denver get Shabazz Napier, Noah Vonleh, Keita Bates-Drop. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
An injured Gerald Green. And then Denver traded away Shabazz for Jordan McRae, which really doesn't mean anything. And I thought Denver got a pick. I'm pretty sure they got a pick. I didn't write that down. All right, who do you think won this one?
I want to say the Hawks.
Okay, I could see that.
Because, I mean, how old's Clint Capella? He's not that old, right?
No, he's got to be like 26. I'll look it up. But...
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have a huge memory of him being in the NFL or NBA, so, like, I don't know. He's got to be pretty young.
25.
Yeah. So, they have a young core with, John Collins and Trey White, so, like, they're going to want to build together. And Clint Capella is a really good, solid center. Dude, what is Daryl Morey doing? Like,
okay, let me advocate more for it because I thought they would have got killed by the Lakers the prime time right after this trade, and they kind of didn't. So like, right, Russell Westbrook doesn't shoot threes well, right, anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And most of his play is in the paint now. So if you just go all in on small ball, so also Daryl Morey, the Hong Kong thing kind of fucked him. So like this is like kind of his last shot, or else the Rockets might just be like, okay, you're done. Like we're gonna fire you.
Think about all of the weird things that he's done. Like the Chris Paul trade, that made no sense.
But he didn't want to do that.
The Russell, well, let's talk about the Rockets just in general, because with the Chris Paul trade, that made no sense. And then they trade him away for Russell Westbrook, which makes just as little sense. And now they're getting rid of their only big man. And I understand that they have this system, but that's like we've seen year after year that the system predicated on just fucking raining holy fire with threes is not a sustainable system. Like, you can blow teams out, but unless you're dialed in all throughout the playoffs, it's not like There's no way. There's absolutely no way that they can win a championship without a center. Like,
Oh no, but like I don't think they're winning with Capella either. They're not winning a championship anyways. So like why not just let Russell Westbrook do his thing? Have no center, just like open up offense, try to score 120 points every game.
just let
And just
well,
try and pray that it works.
just I mean,
So they do.
you
they
actually
have
do have
Bruno.
two guys who are, seemingly caring much more about their stats than actually winning. So I mean, if they want
Russell
to,
Westbrook is killing it this month. He's on fire.
he is.
Like
They're never going to win a championship.
they also so they still have Bruno Caboclo. And like so they're not gonna win the championship. Whatever. Like stop having.
That's the whole
such high
reason of
expectations.
playing in the NBA. Is the whole the goal.
No, so the Blazers. This is like a thing that I don't mind with the Blazers, and like their fans kind of agree with this, where it's they have who they have. They like being good for the most part, except for this year because Nurkic is out. I don't know why they traded Hassan Whiteside. That made no sense. But like being relevant and being like a first round exit is better than being like at the bottom of being the Wizards or like the Knicks right now. Like it's much better to be like there.
I mean, from a money making standpoint, I get that. But
Not even a money maker. It's just like having an energized like fan base. Like okay, like whatever.
I
like,
know, I
it
get
gets frustrating.
that. I especially get that as a Cavs fan, and we can talk about this in a couple minutes. Because when I saw the Drummond trade, I got really excited because there's not a lot to be excited about as a Cavs fan right now. But
That's fair.
at the same time, like they're close, man. Like I know that they're not the best. Like they've been so close for like the past 4 years. And now they're number one, and like their like biggest bugaboo is gone. It like the Infinity Gauntlet snap. Golden State Warriors, bye bye. Like why? Like they were so close to getting to.
I mean, like, why did LeBron leave? Or like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple reasons we can talk about. Let's just go into that Drummond trade.
Yeah.
So Cleveland gets Drummond while sending Detroit John Henson, Brandon Knight, who, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the guy that got like the DeAndre Jordan like stink eye dunked on, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Brandon Knight, and then a 2023 second round pick who your friend is very high on. And also it's the lesser pick of the Golden State or Cleveland, so it's like the worst pick of. Like, Golden State might be a good team. Well, 2023 is very far ahead. Also, it's the second round pick, so I don't really give a shit. All right, tell me why you like this.
Because they got the best rebounder, and by the way, Andre Drummond came in his first game and nailed 2 out of 3 threes. Like, I didn't know Andre Drummond could shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's the best rebounder in basketball right now, and I mean, fuck it. They got him, Tristan Thompson, who I was convinced that they were going to trade away because he was telling them, hey, trade me. And Kevin Love. So, like, you would think that they'd be really good with rebounding right now, but they're still getting blown out by teams. But I don't know. Andre Drummond's still really young. Like, he's only, like, what, 24 or something like that?
No, I think he's
25?
like 26 or something.
Yeah, he's still young. So they have I love their young core right now. I think they need to get a new coach. I think Beeline is dog shit because he has showed me that their coaching is dog shit.
Yeah.
But like Colin Sexton has the skill and in defensive enthusiasm. Not great decision making skills, but that's coaching.
Yeah.
I love Darius Garland, and Kevin Porter. I also think is really, really underrated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah. So they have this awesome young core. If they can just get their shit together and actually build around it. But I don't think Drummond is a bad bad pickup, especially when you're getting him for like a used condom and a bag of chips. Like they gave
All right,
him.
I'm gonna zag on this one, and because I think I commented on your tweet or something. I despise this trade for Cleveland. So Drummond is signing that player option for like $29 million a year next year. So Detroit's just like, hey, like we don't want this money, we want to rebuild, and like Cleveland should almost be the same thing, because you have Kevin Love who's on a huge contract, who you probably should have traded, because like talking about how Tristan Thompson wanted to be traded,
Yeah.
Kevin Love was like chucking balls at Chetty Osman.
Oh yeah.
And like just being so disgruntled and just like you probably should have traded him
Mm-hmm.
out. So now you're paying two power forwards like $60 million a year. Well, you also have Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance Jr. Like
I love Larry Nance.
yeah, but like you don't have. What are you gonna do? Play like Kevin Love at the 3?
Yeah,
and I know it's like a positionless
really-
league now,
really-
but it's just like it doesn't make sense. And I feel like this team is almost like the Knicks, where like I like the young core almost better than like their older players. Though like Tristan Thompson is playing very well this year, and it's just like now he's gonna be benched for Drummond.
Oh, I actually
Like-
just saw a tweet. Tristan Thompson, Andre Drummond, and Larry Nance all had a double-double tonight.
Oh, okay. Who'd they play?
That's a great question.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna sign that contract. They're gonna be like locked in. They're not gonna. I mean, also, just to counter what I'm saying is just like who's gonna go to Cleveland? Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. So I really like Kevin Porter Jr. The reason he fell off was I guess he had some off-court issues or something. Like he was one of the like him and Nasir Little were like one of the last. Oh, and Bol Bol were like one of the last I think draftees this year, like in that little like room or whatever. But like I don't see how they fit these four like center power forwards.
Oh,
on
it
the
doesn't
court.
make any sense.
No.
It's just something to get, excited about, especially when you're a Cavs fan that has that zero expectations.
Yeah, that's fair.
More than anything, though, there's one thing I would love the Cavs to do, which they can't, is I want Dan Gilbert to sell the team and leave.
You need
Forever.
you need to go to Cleveland.
Go away.
Like
Don't ever...
start the chant or start the song.
Dude.
Whatever.
Dan Gilbert and his fucking ego. Like, where's that championship that you promised the first time LeBron left? The first time you drove him out the door. Oh, and then he came back and gave it to you. Remember when he left the first time and you were like, we want to win one without him? Have they won?
Yeah.
Have they had a winning season? When was the last time the Cavs had a winning season without LeBron James? I don't fucking
Oh,
know.
you have to go back
Yeah.
before him. That's absolutely not with Kyrie. Like that.
No. Dog shit. Like, oh my god, I hate him
Yeah.
so much. I hate.
Yeah, he sucks. But moving on. So the Clippers get Marcus Morris. So there's a three-team trade that involved Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas going to the Clippers. The Clippers waived IT immediately. Wizards get Jerome Robinson from the Clippers, and the Knicks get Mo Harkless, 2020 first-round pick, first-round swap with the Clippers in 2021, second-round 2020 pick from the Clippers via Detroit, and draft rights to Isuf Sinan, sure, that's a player. All right, who do you think won this trade?
I mean the Clippers.
Yeah, obviously, but
I got two things on this. One, poor IT. Like,
right? Yeah, I feel bad.
I feel so bad for him. I understand that he rushed an injury, but he lost out on so much money. So many teams have turned their back on him, including the team that he rushed his injury for, and that he balled out the game after his sister died. Like,
Yeah.
he gave his heart to Boston, and they shit on his face. Like,
Danny Ainge has no soul.
like this guy has shown over and over again that he can ball, and he's healthy now. Like he wasn't good in Cleveland, but he's been great everywhere else, and that was Cleveland. So let's, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, like somebody give like Christ, how this guy is not like so. I mean, he might be just like so depressed, but. Like, I don't know how this guy keeps going, man. Like, he's worked so hard, and I know he's listed at, like 5'10". There's no way this guy is taller than 5'8". Like, and I
think he actually might be listed 5'8".
I know people that have met him. They're like, he's short as hell. Like,
yeah. So I don't know if I told you this. I saw JJ Redick at a shuffleboard place in Brooklyn.
Really?
And like, he's like 6'6". He does not look that tall.
Really?
Yeah, like he's like 6'6" is like a head size taller than you.
I have a friend that's 6'6", and he looks like a tower.
Okay, I don't know. From like, because I didn't go up to him because I don't really like being like, oh my god, this famous person. Because he just seemed like he was kicking it, and it was like right before he went to the Pelicans for like training camp or something. Anyways, Isaiah Thomas 5'9" on Wikipedia. So.
Oh, JJ Redick's 6'4".
You sure? I thought it looked.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
That's an inch. That's an inch taller than Nick Sanita.
Yeah.
He's my representative for height because.
Dick Fajita. All right. So yeah, I think the Clippers kind of won this trade, but I feel like they mostly won it because the Lakers don't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the fucking thing. I'm tired of everything going right in Kawhi's career and everything going wrong. And like LeBron is always getting the short end of the stick in situations, and Kawhi is always getting like it seems like the lucky break. And I might be just looking at that objectively or biasly or whatever, but
absolutely biased.
I understand that. I know. But like LeBron, it just seems like everything seems to work out for him.
LeBron played with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, like I guess it's the second super team of that era, but like a much better super team than like KG, Ray Allen, and then.
Yeah, and he got so much heat and hate for doing that.
Cause he's like at least the second best player ever, like, and he brings it. He. Like
I know, but Kawhi got no heat for getting
because he doesn't talk. This is LeBron. LeBron like wants the attention and like the whole media to like focus on him because it helps him in his like career after basketball.
I know.
So, anyways, he plays with those two. Then he plays with Kyrie and Kevin Love, who are both former first-round picks. Then he goes to LA and like manufactures this trade to get Anthony Davis like in his prime, and like these are all players in his prime. So like,
well, I understand. It
definitely broke for LeBron.
But, like, look at it from my perspective, where you have, like, he makes one decision, and then everybody in the fucking world hates him, and then he goes back to Cleveland to try and wrong his mistake, and then he gets, like, shoved up against the greatest super team that's ever been built. I mean, that the initial standing of the Warriors was frightening. Like, they shit all over the Cavs the first time they played in the finals. And then he pulled off a miracle and beat them, and then they got KD. And then it was an unfair fight. And then he loses Kyrie, because Kyrie decides to go off and, do his own fuckery, which I to this day could not understand.
Because he knows LeBron's leaving. He doesn't want to stay in Cleveland.
Like, Kyrie, I disagree with that.
No, I think he knew
he
that.
left
I
because
think Kyrie's
he wanted
extremely smart, and he knew that LeBron was leaving. He didn't want to stay in Cleveland with Dan Gilbert, who you want to sell a team. You want him to sell a team, so.
But then why didn't he just leave the next year?
Good point.
Because he wants to trade.
Well, yeah, because I don't know.
Because he wanted
it was definitely like he wanted to try being like the alpha
team.
dog thing too.
And then he realized how hard it was. Now he felt a little bad about it. But regardless, now, LeBron goes to LA, and then fucking everybody in the world hates him for it. Like, how many miracles got to
dude? No one likes the Lakers.
I understand
for people in LA.
I get that. But like, it just feels, and then the Warriors go away, and then the Clippers create the super team. Also,
Not a super team.
well,
no.
not a super team, but like I understand that Kawhi and LeBron and AD being on the same team would have been so overpowered, and I've said that over and over again that like if that had happened, I wouldn't have felt great about that. But for him to like listen, you and I both know Kawhi knew exactly what he was doing. He was waiting for Paul George to get that trade, and then he was going to do it. So for him to drag out the Lakers like that, and the Lakers to like, first off, they like the Rob Pelinka. He did a fantastic job on the fly getting players for this team, but they missed out on so many other players they could have gone for. One of which,
I mean, that's also his fault for getting tricked by Kawhi.
I understand that,
you
but
should
that
have
was a
known
shitty move
him
by Kawhi, and
this.
Kawhi's getting no heat for that either.
Because he doesn't talk to the media.
Because he doesn't.
Media doesn't want to talk to him.
Because he doesn't talk. Nobody.
All right, we gotta stop talking
Yeah,
about this because this isn't even about the trade.
Yeah,
pretty much anymore.
I know.
I get your pain.
I think it was shitty that they tried to get Kuzma and Danny Green for Marcus Morris, and then they just gave them to our biggest competition for fucking nothing. Like,
yeah,
that was a shitty move.
But like, I felt like the Knicks actually kind of got a good deal out of him because they get a bunch of picks. Like you get Mo Harkless, who's a good defender.
I think they did too, but that's not Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma.
What are they doing on the Knicks though? Like Mo Harkless is almost a better fit because he's a good defender, and then you want to build around like RJ, like DSJ and Mitch Robinson, and like I feel like they weren't offering picks. They have no picks, so like you want to build for the future. This is how you do it. Like so I thought I don't know what I thought it was.
Well, you talking about building
like
for
I don't
the
want to
future?
say
Kyle
the
Kuzma is only in what, his second year, third year?
Right, but Kyle Kuzma is the third highest like point. Like I don't know why he was on the trade market. Like he should be on their team. He is the only thing after like LeBron retired. Well, I guess Anthony Davis because he'll probably resign. But and then I thought the Wizards actually didn't do a terrible job because like Isaiah Thomas is kind of older, injury prone. You get Jerron Robinson, who's like kind of a good point guard or at least a good project. And I mean they're going nowhere either. They just have. I mean Bradley Beal's the only player on that team, and John Wall is like might come back, and I guess not only player. Like shout out to Thomas Bryant, Bishop Carney dude too. So I don't know.
I can tell you the one thing I am happy about.
What?
There are a whole bunch of teams inquiring about fucking Alex Caruso, and I'm so glad that the Lakers held on to him.
Yeah,
I love Alex Caruso.
Yeah, he's fun.
Do you see my
Athletic.
tweet about the All NBA YMCA team?
Oh yeah, I think it was Jokic and
Alex Caruso, Bojan Bogdanovic, who's the guy on the Jazz? Ingles, Joe.
Oh, Ingles, yeah, Joe
and
Ingles,
then
yeah.
Jared Dudley, and then Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Did you see that? It was like a video of a tweet where like Anthony Davis like had the sick dunk, and then like he spit his gum, and like Jared Dudley's like he has his like hands above his head and his mouth is like pointing up, and it looks like he caught the gum but he wasn't even like on the floor.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I'll have to send it to you or find it. It was just funny. All right, so Zion Williamson came back, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out, plays for against the Spurs. He's on restricted minutes because they want to like control how the way he runs and make sure he's not injured. But I'm gonna throw some per 36 stats at you. So per 36 minutes, he would average 26.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. I mean, he's shooting at a ridiculous rate of 57.4 field goal percentage, 59.3 efficient field goal percentage, and 44 from three. So my question to you is, do you think this is sustainable?
No. I hear that. So hearing that is weird because he's doing the opposite of what everybody thought he was going to be doing. Everybody thought he was going to be, hitting up alley oops, and they thought that he was going to be, half of doing like kind of what LeBron's doing right now, like a big man, kind of like half of the time running point, because that's what he does. Like he's, a big man with a pass first kind of mentality. So for him to be averaging only like 2 assists a game is kind of weird for me. But I do understand the high efficiencies and the high shooting percentages because his shot wasn't that great in college, and coming into the draft, everybody talked about it a lot. So not a lot of people are guarding it. Like, this goes back to that conversation that you and I had about the first game that he had where everybody's losing their fucking mind because Zion made 4 threes in a row.
Did you watch last year?
Nobody guarded him. Like, on 3 of those 4 threes, nobody was within 4 or 5 feet of him. Like, nobody was even trying to guard him. And then on the last one, what's his name?
I think it's like Jakob Pertl or something.
Yeah, one of the Spurs defenders like did a half-assed kind of put a hand up, but I understand, being in game is different, but you're an NBA player, you should be able to make a wide open uncontested 3 for the most part. Half of the centers in the league can do that.
Yeah.
So 4 in a row is good, but not when nobody's guarding you. So, Twitter was breaking over that, and I was just like, he's in the NBA. He should be able to do that. Most of the guys should be able to do that if they're going to get that much space. So I haven't watched a ton of his game, but I'm kind of just speculating on this. I'm guessing that's probably why, because either he's dunking the ball a lot or he's just not getting guarded on jump shots that much because people thought his shot wasn't that great. He hasn't been playing for too long. It's only been a couple weeks. So I don't think that's too sustainable. I do think he's going to still be really good. Mm-hmm. I do think he's also he's definitely a candidate for a huge bust because of the injury factor.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, that is the only reason.
Yeah.
But he's had three knee injuries in the last year and a half.
Yeah, I think so. Was the first one knee, or I thought it was his ankle?
No, he hurt his knee blowing his shoe out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was ankle. All right. So just to, I guess, go back. So the 2.7 assists, that's per 36. So he's really only doing, let me see, 2.3. Oh, that's still pretty. What? I don't get that. Oh, I guess he's averaging 27 now, which seems much higher. I thought he was on the minute restrictions. Shows how much I know. So he's, from what I've seen though, he's kind of just bullying grown men, which makes sense because I think he's the 3rd heaviest.
Yeah, he's
player in the NBA,
285 or something.
But there's a play against the Bucks where it's Giannis who's pretty much going to be the MVP this year, and he just steals the ball from him on a rebound, and then I think dunks it or maybe gets fouled or something.
Yeah, he's built like a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I always see the whole LeBron kind of style with him because he's basically a football player.
Mm-hmm.
Physique playing basketball. He could shoot. He's a great passer. He pretty much has all the kicks. It really is the injury thing that could cause him to I wouldn't say fail, but just kind of be more of a bust. And I think it's good he's on the Pelicans because he doesn't have to play a whole lot.
Yeah,
they don't have to be good right now.
Around him.
Yeah, you don't have James Dolan just banging on your door, being hey, play 40 minutes next game because it'll sell me a ton more, or just give you more revenue or whatever.
It's letting Brandon Ingram have the year of his career.
Right? Yeah, he's doing great.
Yo, what the fuck is it with like the second everybody leaves the Lakers, right?
I think it's player development is a huge thing. So like a little talk about Toronto. They I feel like have the best player development in the NBA because like this Terrence Davis guy who like people wanted to draft him in the second round to sign him on a two-way contract, and he was just like, "Nah, don't draft me. I'm not going to sign that contract." So then he didn't, and then the Raptors just signed him to I think like a minimum like rookie deal or something, and he's been tearing it up for them. So it's just like, I forgot where this was going, but well, so Laker player development. I feel like they're more focused on like stars and now like almost like veterans, and I don't know. There's got to be like
even
good
before
assistant
that,
coaches.
like, I mean, like, you got what, like Lou Williams, D'Lo, Larry Nance, Jordan Clarkson, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, like literally the second everybody has left the Lakers, the next year they have the best year of their season. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Again, I've talked to my friend about this, and he thinks like it's overblown. But I don't know. I think they have a serious problem with player development because it's happening so much.
Yeah, it's across the board. Like it's not like you said, it's not just one player. It's pretty much all of them.
One thing.
All right,
so,
I think we're what?
So with the whole Zion thing. The one thing I'm scared about this season is if the NBA has this issue with going with just stories, what makes the best story or whatever, and there's been so much hype this year over Zion. I'm so scared that they're going to give him Rookie of the Year because Ja deserves it so much.
Oh, absolutely. He's not going to get Rookie of the Year. He's going to play like 40 games at most.
Would you be shocked if he got it?
Yes, actually, yes.
Really?
I would be shocked. Ja Morant is playing out of his mind. Ja Morant
is leading them into the playoffs.
Right, and like, you could have argued him to be an All-Star?
I
possibly?
think he should have been. I would have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not East. Is it East and West?
No, so you
I would
still
put him in over Ben Simmons.
Well, you can't, no, because it's still like it's like 14 East and 14 West, or 15 East, 15 West, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
It's not like split, but then you could draft.
Because I can think of a handful of people I would put him in over. I mean, like, I don't want to shit on Kyle Lowry right now, but like, I'd put him in over Kyle.
You can't put him over that because he's in the Western Conference.
Exactly.
You have to put him over like Westbrook or I don't know, other people. All right, moving on. Getting a little political on this pod because it's a Snowflake Sports podcast, so we gotta talk about it. The New Hampshire primary was yesterday, and Birdie squeaked out a victory, a little too close to comfort, but he still won. And fuck all these mainstream media talking about how he like should have won by more, should have killed. He's won the first two, technically, at least by popular vote. So like he's doing great, and like. He's gonna do well in Nevada. Like Biden's been.
The only thing that scares me about Nevada right now is the Democratic Party, like the DNC of Nevada, just hired a one of Buttigieg's campaign campaign party members as their it's like the position is like election security officer or something like that. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
With all of the bullshit we just had with Iowa?
Yeah, and plus like Nevada's a caucus too, so it's gonna be like another mess.
Two things on the mainstream media right now. Third place is not better than first. Like, I'm tired of everybody being like, yo, this win was so much more important, like, for Amy Klobuchar than it was for Bernie. It was impressive that she got 20%, but not better. 'Cause Bernie won. A win, first place is better than third place. I've been playing sports for a long time, and I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And then also, the dumbest argument is like Bernie's in trouble because he has such a smaller percentage than he got last time he was in a primary. Yeah, there was one other person he was running against, not like
Right.
8.
Yeah.
Are like if that's your argument, you are insulting the intelligence of the people watching your show. If they can't do like fucking first grade math and understand why the percentages are lower than Hillary versus Bernie, like if you have a fucking pie and 2 people eat that pie, they're gonna eat a shit ton of pie. But if you have 10 people eat a pie, you're getting smaller. Like, oh my god, I can't believe they ran with that. They're trying everything in their power to fuck this guy over right now. And I'm loving it right now because he's invincible. Everything, when the mainstream media or somebody else attacks him, he gets like a new like surge in donations, and it I know we talked earlier about like Warren's attack just completely backfiring, but I think what like the mainstream media and the generation that is trying to manipulate everybody does not understand is that I don't know if you've ever seen the map of what every state would have looked like in 2016 if only millennials had voted, because it's almost entirely blue. So,
well, yeah. There's millennials voting for Trump is like not really a thing.
So we have, I think they are like they're still stuck in their mindset of the way that things have been their whole lives. They do not understand how like, because they're always in on everything, but they don't understand like how much information that the public has now, and how much that our generation cares about this kind of stuff, because we're getting affected about it more than anybody, like climate change. Like, you guys are gonna die in like 20 years, or we are gonna have our entire lives to deal with this. If we want to have kids, they're gonna have to deal with that even more.
Right. I mean, to add to that too, it's just like college debt, how rent has skyrocketed just the past like 5 years. There's just so many things against this generation that, which is why you flock to more Bernie, because he's like caring more about
he's the only
general mass.
There's two candidates right now. I was trying to tell my mom this. There's 2 candidates right now that I can 100% tell you I know exactly what they stand for, and it's Bernie and Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is a shitty fucking moderate that's gonna do like the bare minimum and like do small incremental change, but she's upfront and honest about it. Everybody else, like, I loved Elizabeth Warren until she hired some Obama and Hillary staffers, and then they told her to move closer to the middle, and then she started to sink, and then she attacked Bernie and tried calling him a sexist when there was video evidence of him in the 1970s trying to promote like more women in government and talking to like little kids about, women, you have every right to whatever. Like, he's his track record is so much better than any other politician I can possibly think of, because it's so long and it's so consistent. He's been right on every issue that he's been involved in when it comes to like human rights or going to war, and like, people want to talk about that fucking gun legislation bill. The only reason he signed that was because it was the only way he can convince the Republican that was trying to get it in to add the Violence Against Women Act.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, so just trying to go in the middle of the whole Warren Bernie thing, I actually think both of them are right. So, like, I think from what I've read and what I've like heard, they had like a conversation, and it sounded like Bernie was like, "Hey, it's going to be difficult for a woman to win," which like obviously it is. Like, in the climate we are, like this whole Me Too movement, I think has kind of helped, but like it's still hard for a woman to win a presidency.
Well, there's a difference
then, like,
between sexism and realism.
right,
Say
but
that
like I think
Donald
Warren
Trump is
heard that and like almost thought in her mind like sexism or like said that to like what you said like one of these or Clinton staffers and it's
so.
like, oh, we could use that to set up this question in this debate,
I actually don't
and
think
it just totally backfired.
I don't know if you heard this, but one of the staffers on Elizabeth Warren's team, I think she did it. What's the word without like identification?
Oh, you mean like off the record?
Yeah. So basically,
yeah.
somebody came forward and said that Elizabeth Warren often indulges in old stories and like over exaggerates them. So
right,
that happened like
totally
right after she came forward and said that that's what Bernie said in the situation. So I agree with you. I think Bernie said something that was completely realistic, especially with the sexist, racist, xenophobic monster pig that's in the White House, saying that he's going to attack you for being a woman. Like, I mean, that's not sexist. That's realistic.
Yeah.
That's not saying you can't win because you're a woman. That's saying he's going to throw this at you. Like, we need to come up with a plan. But there's so much evidence pointing against him being a sexist. But I don't care.
Right.
Like, Andrew Yang just dropped out. If 90% of his voters don't flock to Bernie Sanders, I would be shocked.
So, okay, so I heard something. So I've been watching more MSNBC now because I'm mooching off my parents' YouTube TV, and I kind of hate it a lot too because like I'll wake up really early, watch like Morning Joe, and like sometimes it's good, sometimes he's like yelling at millennials for like tweeting something. I'm just like, dude, like shut up. But they had a good point, I think, on like Yang supporters are almost like Yang or die. Like he is the only one we're gonna vote for. Like, and they're mostly like college students who I feel like.
I think all of that's bullshit. I think they're doing.
No, I totally see that because it's not like a huge contingent. Like it's not.
Well, they put the same thing on.
Was like, yeah, I'm gonna vote for Yang.
They put the same thing on. I mean, that's only. I think that's only because of the nickname that was coined, the Yang Gang. But I mean, they're doing the same thing with fucking Bernie, like with the
Bernie Bro is a perfect.
Bernie Bros,
though.
By the way, Bernie Bros is bullshit. Like, I understand that people are mad, and that's because people are trying to cheat this guy who just wants to help everybody out of an election because they did it last time. The fucking DNC rigged the election.
But look at the look at the demographics though. Most Bernie supporters are like millennial men.
Oh, dude, it's everything.
Overwhelmingly,
it's millennial men, women, older women, especially of color. Like Bernie's worst demographic is older white men.
Well, no, it's just older people.
Yeah.
Too. Older women isn't that great. People of color, it's like coming around. It definitely wasn't great in 2016. And like it depends, cause like.
Are you sure about that?
More like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's why that's what Clinton like used to carry was basically the POC vote.
Clinton also spewed a ton of bullshit.
Doesn't matter. Still got the POC vote.
Don't.
Bloomberg might get the POC vote, and he's the fucking stop and frisk guy.
Yeah.
So
I hope
anyways, moving on. Nevada. Who do you think wins this?
I want to say Bernie because Nevada is more diverse than milk white Iowa.
Or bleach New Hampshire.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing that freaks me out right now is that Buttigieg staffer being hired. I think there's going to be some fuckery. I think, especially because, of all the shit that happened in Iowa and the fact that Bernie was projected to win by like 8 or 10 points and he only won by a little under 2. I think a lot of that had to do with the momentum that Buttigieg got from all the bullshit that happened in Iowa. But like the fact that I watch this, there's a couple places that I get my news from. One of them is this podcast, Secular Talk, and the the host, Kyle Kalinske, is constantly preaching. Bernie doesn't need to just win; he needs to overwin because they're going to try and cheap him out every single chance they can get. The DNC especially, and that's what we've seen in the last primary and the last caucus. We don't have evidence for the last primary, but the last poll showed that he was going to win by 8 to 10 points, and then he just narrowly squeaks out a victory. So I mean, it could be. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but I have such little faith in the DNC right now after all of the shit they've been doing and all the shit that the mainstream media has been doing. Do you watch TYT at all?
No, but I follow, who's that guy? Hassan? I forget.
Hassan Piker?
Yeah.
Oh, he is you would love it. I bet. Yeah. I highly recommend you just checking it out. It's
yeah. No, I love his little 5-minute videos too.
Yeah.
I forget why I haven't seen it in a while. Probably because most of my stuff is sports.
Yeah.
Just new.
Sense.
So I think it's harder in a primary to do fuckery. Obviously in a caucus you could, because you don't see vote records or vote counts.
Mm.
So I think New Hampshire, and I know you said this was bad, but a lot of moderate voters I feel are not decided because they're trying to be I think the most important thing is electability, who could beat Trump, especially if you're in the moderate era. So is it Mayor Pete who has only experience in a very small South Bend city?
It's not.
Is it Joe Biden who's too old and
dude?
I feel it's
Bernie's
just out of touch with pretty much the entire country.
Yeah.
Or is it this Amy Klobuchar person that's just kind of middle of the road and she is who she is? Like you said, you know what she stands for.
Yeah.
She doesn't stand for Medicare for all.
Nobody took her seriously earlier in the debate, and now she just got 3rd place in New Hampshire. Nobody was expecting that.
Yeah, but I think it's also because her and Pete are pretty much the same base. They just don't do well with
neither
diversity.
Neither of them have a chance because
so
the number that's what everybody says, the number one most important demographic to getting elected in the Democratic primary is the black vote. They are polling nationally at 0 and 1%.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah. So with Nevada though, I think Bernie wins, and I think it's mostly because I think the Latino vote he's been surging in that Latino kind of district, and Nevada has a lot more of that. I don't think they have a ton of actual black votes or black voters, so I think he wins that because he was close anyways, and Biden's just cratering. And also, okay, who's running Biden's campaign? Why the fuck is he in South Carolina? He's gonna win that state. There's no point in him being in South Carolina.
I don't know if he is, dude. South Carolina has a huge black population, and he just got 4th place and 5th place.
In 90% white voters.
He's an old white man. He's an old white, middle of the road man.
But he's Obama's VP. He could just ride that coattails, and probably a lot of people will just still vote for him. We'll see. I still think I haven't looked at a poll in a while in South Carolina. There might not have even been one. He's been up by 20 or 10. Granted, he might crater. I just don't know. Does Bloomberg take? Bloomberg's not even competing.
Dude, the second
Bernie get it? I don't know. It'll be fun.
If the MSC and NBC debate is professional at all, which they're obviously going to spend the first half an hour just asking Bernie absurd questions and attacking him, but if they don't ask Bloomberg about stop and frisk, he has to answer that. He has to answer why should you have been able to basically just buy your way into this election, or why should we trust a guy who just did something really racist and that used to be a Republican who's a billionaire to a guy who is also a racist billionaire Republican? Really? We want to choose between him and Donald Trump? There's what? The guy was a Republican 10 years ago. He still kind of
Yeah.
is. Like, I don't know why he's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He pretty much is. I don't really know what his stances are, except I guess he defends stop and frisk. And I guess he's like for modern America. Um, but yeah, they're gonna have to ask that question. And also, uh, I mean, MSNBC reported this last night that, or one of their announcers was just like, hey, like Bloomberg probably leaked that story yesterday because like everyone's gonna talk about New Hampshire, and it was just kind of it was good timing to put out that story because now it's just kind of over and people might not even talk about it by the time of the next debate.
Yeah, but
Um,
that debate's coming up, and they just changed the rules to get Bloomberg into that debate.
yeah, it was dumb. It was very stupid. Um, all right, I think that wraps it up.
I got that
Kind of a
one.
long one, but I think it was well suited.
Can I
Thank you,
quick
Fritz.
plug that prediction I have?
Oh, sure. Oh, shit. Sorry.
No,
I
you're
forgot.
fine. Um,
Bold prediction.
but I'm still a little heated from earlier. Bold prediction: the Sixers get knocked out in the first round.
To who? Who are you?
Right
Are
now,
you saying they were like a six
right
seed?
now, if we were going to go into playoffs right now, they're going up against the Heat.
Okay.
They're the fifth seed right now. Heat's fourth. Bold
Oh, because
prediction.
Boston's third.
Yeah, and guess what? If the Heat goes up, they're gonna have to play Boston. Like, and
Yeah.
there's, I mean,
Okay, I can see that.
yeah. So right now, Boston's got 37 wins, and then like below Philadelphia, they're 3 wins ahead of Indiana. So like, even if Indiana passes them, then they'll play Boston. Or I mean, they'd have to avoid like. No, they're gonna play either Boston or Miami. Like,
Um. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I don't even think that's too bold. It's a little weird when you think about it
yeah,
at first, but I think you could talk yourself very easily into it.
yeah.
Because I feel like Miami's too good. I feel like Jimmy Butler's like unleashed on a team that
Oh yeah.
wants to work hard.
Bam out of
So like
buyout came
obviously
out of
that team's
fucking nowhere,
clicking.
and then they got that.
Jason Tatum is playing out of his mind too.
Yeah,
And they're like, I'm a Kyrie stan, but they got him out of that locker room, and it feels like that team is just like
yeah.
a whole new team. Um, Raptors are on a 15-game winning streak as of right now. They might still be losing to Brooklyn.
Raptors are the quietest fucking team in the league right now.
Hell yeah!
Like they're just sneaking up on everybody, and
Yeah,
nobody's
it's that
talking.
player development.
Yeah, man.
Malcolm Boucher, reigning G League MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, man.
Just stepping in for Gasol.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I got some bad news for you. That 15-win streak is over.
Is it? Yeah.
They're down 10. There's 37 seconds left. So I mean, I don't know if they pull like a.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
I mean, still a 15-game win streak. Like,
Yeah, I think the Bucks were losing bad to the Pacers too. Crazy thing, so they go on this 15-game win streak. They like gain like 2 games on the Bucks. Like it, they're still like 6 games back.
yeah,
So,
it's crazy.
all right, I think that pretty much wraps up this pod. Thank you, Fritz, for coming on. It's a pleasure having you on. Please rate, review us, and like us, and follow on whatever podcast service you get us. And have a good night.